Good morning, guys. It's Anna Brooks here. Welcome to episode, I think I put episode 6, but I think it's actually episode 7. I've written the wrong one. It's episode 7 of Anna's Attitude Adjusters. And today's topic is, are you secretly addicted to the struggle, basically? So let me tell you a quick story, basically, about, for those of you who may or may not know my history. I had an interesting upbringing. I've talked often and quite honestly about my dad and the fact that we had a very tumultuous relationship and that he killed himself last year and all those kind of things. So I've definitely had some interesting times in my life, right? And there's definitely been some struggle, which I know we all go through, right? So what I really want to talk about is, are you actually secretly addicted to this struggle, right? So it can be this kind of feeling of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a martyr type syndrome, right? So where you're very addicted to this idea that you're able to get through the struggle, you're able to push through, you're able to be stronger than other people. The more kind of crap happens to you, the more horrible situations you come across, you just get stronger and tougher and all that kind of stuff, right? And it becomes an addiction pretty much. It becomes something that becomes part of your story that, hey, I'm tougher than everyone else, I can get through all of this. But the problem is when this becomes part of your reality and when this becomes part of who you are, basically, in the sense that it's something that you internalize and sort of becomes part of your character and your soul, that you're always the one who's tougher than everyone else, you always take on other people's problems maybe, or even you just have so many problems but you never complain, you just power through, you're really strong and everything. And I get how that can be addictive because you get a lot of feedback and you get a lot of basically admiration for it, right? So I know for me personally in the past and also currently, whenever I talk about my struggles and things that I've gone through, people are very shocked because of my nature, because of how upbeat I am, because of how basically positive and energetic and everything I am. People are quite shocked because they expect someone who's gone through really, really hard times to be different, to be quite damaged, I suppose is the word, right? So in the past, this has, for me personally, been kind of, like I said, like a martyr type syndrome where I almost, not almost, I completely did get addicted to having people basically think that I'm amazing because of everything that I can go through, right? And the problem is that when this becomes part of your reality and becomes part of who you are and what you relate to, you're going to attract more of it, right? So you're going to constantly be putting yourself in situations where you are struggling, where things are happening to you. And this can be really hard to identify because it's often things that you're not consciously aware of bringing into your life, right? Like you may actually really push yourself in life. You may really be going for your goals. You're really motivated. You're really focused. You're committed to things. You actually do the work, all that kind of stuff. So it can seem like these things are literally just happening to you outside of your control, whether it's like parents or friends or partners, that you keep having crappy relationships in your personal relationships, in your family relationships, in career, in your job, in your stable, like a home life, not feeling safe at home or not feeling like you really have a home or anything like that. It can be so many different things, right? But it's a recurring sort of feeling that you get that these things just keep happening to you regardless what you do. Like, for example, you might work really hard, really try and get yourself to a point where you're really successful, you're really educated, all that kind of thing, and yet you can't seem to get a job that makes you happy. It always, you always end up with a crappy boss or whatever it is, and it feels like it's out of your control because you're doing everything you can. This is the part where the tough love comes in, right? Because it's not actually you that's... it's not what you're consciously doing, it's what you're unconsciously and subconsciously doing, right? So you're actually choosing in your own way this syndrome, and you're choosing to repurpose it and just bring it into your life, basically, because you're getting something out of it. And the thing that you're getting out of it is that you get feedback maybe from others that you're so tough, you're so strong, you're so amazing, or it could just be your own personal type thing that you know no matter what the world throws at you, you're going to be able to do it, and it kind of it raises your morale, and it raises the self-confidence in yourself that you're able to handle all these things, right? And that's really great. No, there's nothing wrong with being strong. There's nothing wrong with being tough. But when it becomes your default, that you're basically just on that default run in terms of your energy, that you're constantly attracting things to prove how tough you are, you can't even stop it if you try. So you can power through, you can continue powering through, you can continue working and being strong and just doing absolutely everything. But as long as you're in that mindset of, I need something to prove myself, to show the world how tough I am, how much I can handle, you're going to keep attracting those kind of situations. And it's an unconscious, it's a subconscious type of thing. So you may not even be aware of it because, like I said, you're too focused on being the tough one, being the strong one, being the one who gets through it all. So you might not even realize that you're doing it. But if this is a recurring thing where you feel like, yeah, you know what, I've been through a lot and I keep going through a lot, and I'm really strong and I'm really focused and I do it, everything right, and I, right by you, and I'm living life the way I want to live it, and I'm being really powerful in my stance and everything like that. And yet, why does this shit keep happening to me? Why do I keep being in these situations where someone's not treating me well in a relationship, in a career, in a job, in whatever it is, right? Why do these things keep happening that seem outside of your control? The tough love part of it is that it is actually within your control. It's within your energetic control. So you can, stand there and go, no, look, I didn't ask for this, I didn't ask for that. And hey, look, I've been there as well. I've, in the past, definitely been there and still go through these things. But especially with my dad in the past, I was there that I'm like, well, I didn't ask for this dad. I didn't ask for a dad who was depressed and abusive and, decided to kill himself and then drag me through hell afterwards. I didn't ask for that. And yet, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did, because energetically, it was what I needed, right? It was what I needed in order to learn a lesson and to grow in certain areas that I hadn't yet faced up to, that I was shying away from, right? So it can be really tough, especially when it's something very personal and very hurtful that's happened. It can be really tough to admit that, you didn't, as in, it's not your fault. You didn't ask for this person to hurt you in this way, or this situation to hurt you in this way, or whatever it is. I'm not saying that you just a sadistic person or something like that. But energetically, you did ask for it. Energetically, everything that comes to you, every situation you find yourself in, every person that you meet, every struggle that you go through, you've energetically pulled into your life because of the way that you process things, because of the way that you actually show up in life. And you've actually energetically pulled that into you because you have a lesson from it that you still haven't learned. And this can take a really long time, because this is something that I've gone through for so many years of my life. This is something that I grew up with, is again, based on my upbringing, and especially around my father and stuff. I did grow up being very tough and learning to look after myself and learning to fight for things and that kind of stuff. So this was, very ingrained in me, to have to try to actually let go and stop fighting in order to allow things to happen the way that I want them to, rather than just being in that constant, let's prove myself, let's be the strong one, let's be the tough one, let's be the one that everybody's like, oh my God, all that kind of stuff. I deserve good things too, just like you do, right? And it's that sort of shift in attitude and shift in belief where you go, okay, I actually deserve good things. I deserve to have good things flow to me easily, and they don't need to always be a struggle. I don't need to fight for everything in my life. I am allowed, and I should, and I deserve to actually just receive based on who I am, and not based on any other thing that I may be doing or may not be doing, right? So this shift in attitude, first of all, needs you to acknowledge that that's what you're doing. If you find yourself that, yeah, okay, you know what, I have actually been a little bit addicted to this struggle, and addicted to basically the feeling of how tough I am and how strong I am and how much I can push through everything. That has been a source of pride for me, right? And so I haven't wanted to let it go. Once you can acknowledge that, you can move past it. You can say, okay, well, you know what, from now on, I allow myself to receive easily. I allow myself to get the things that I want easily. I allow situations to become easy. I allow the relationships in my life to become easy, all that kind of stuff, right? As soon as you start allowing that, things start to shift, right? So have a look at in your life if this is resonating with you, if this is something that you're like, you know what, yeah, I do feel like I've always been fighting, I've always been tooth and nail, having to prove myself, having to go through situations that I didn't bring about, that I didn't, ask for, and it's just constant, but it's still a constant in my life. Yes, you may not have consciously gone ahead and, picked a crappy relationship. It may be your parents, which, you didn't get a chance to pick or anything like that. But take ownership of it anyway. It just makes it easier. It makes it so much easier to take responsibility in the sense that you can go, I needed this. Yes, I didn't deserve it. Yes, I didn't deserve to go through these situations, but I needed them because energetically there's something I needed to learn from them. And until you actually learn what that lesson is, which I'm going to just tell it to you because I'm going to make it really easy for you. The lesson is you are allowed to have things come easily to you. You don't need to fight for everything. That is the lesson. But it can take a lot longer to actually get that lesson ingrained, right? So that's the secret lesson there. I've just kind of given it away to you. But like I said, it's one thing knowing, it's one thing having someone tell you the secret or whatever, and it's a completely other story to actually implement it yourself, and to the point where, like I said, this isn't about what you're doing physically, this isn't about how you're showing up, how you're working, how you're anything. This is literally about your energy levels. So this is how you are actually attracting, pulling things into your life, and how you are showing up and demanding other people and other situations treat you, right? And this is all comes down to what you believe you deserve. And as long as you're in that loop of I deserve, and I actually kind of get off on and pride myself on being tough and being strong and having people kind of go, wow, you can do all of this stuff and you can get through so much. As long as that's your source of pride and source of what you're doing, you're always going to have that struggle, right? So there comes a time when you need to just let that go, move on, and accept that, you know what, things are allowed to be easy. It doesn't mean that you're not strong. It doesn't mean that you're going to lose all of your capability to be tough and to, show up and power through your life and get all the things done. It's actually going to make you stronger because you're going to be able to not only use your strength to grow and to push yourself, but at the same time, you're going to actually let the universe do some of the legwork for you. So you're not the only one who's pushing this whole time. All right, that's everything for today. I hope that you got something out of this. Let me know if this is resonating with you, or if you want to even pop down below if this is something that, definitely rings true for you and what you're going to do to start changing that. I definitely would start with some journaling and some affirmation work on the new beliefs that you have, such as things are effortless for me. Everything I do becomes easy. Every situation that I'm in is easy to manage. The people I surround myself with make me feel alive and never challenged and that kind of stuff. Or maybe not never challenged, that's a bad one. Challenges are great. But along those kind of lines, right? So start with your affirmations and your journaling and everything. And I'd love for you to connect and let me know what you're up to, what you got out of this. I would absolutely love to hear whether you want to pop a comment down below or private message me, as many people do. That's fine as well. And I will talk to you guys really soon. Have a fantastic day, and remember to live life on purpose. Bye.